Hello and welcome to another CS Tutor Center video. Today we're going to talk about the problem remove duplicates from sorted list. But before we get started, if you are enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel, that lets me know that you're enjoying these videos, and as a result, I'll make more of them. Alright, let's get started. This problem says, given the head of a sorted linked list, delete all duplicates such that each element appears only once. Return the linked list sorted as well. So we see this problem example has 1, 1, 2, and the duplicate is this 1, and so we remove it and we result in a 1, 2. Let's see the next one. We see a duplicate here, and then there's a duplicate there, so we remove them, and then we're left with 1, 2, 3. All right, the constraint says the number of nodes in the list is in the range of 0 to 300, so we know it's possible that we could end up with no nodes at all. It could be a null that gets passed in. The value is between 100 and negative 100, and the list is guaranteed to be sorted in ascending order. This makes the problem nice and easy. So let's look at the whiteboard, and we'll think about this conceptually. Okay, so here is the problem from example 2, and we want to remove these duplicates. So what we'll do is we'll create a pointer to point right up here. I'll make this a different color. Let's go with purple. And what we're going to do is we're going to have this pointer point to this node, and then we're going to read this value at that node. I'm going to move it over here so that box doesn't pop up in our way. So we'll read that value, excuse me. Let's do green. So we'll read that value, so 1, and then what we're going to do is we're going to then follow the next here and read this next value here, which is also 1. And if those equal each other, what we'll do is we'll have a temp pointer that will, essentially before I explain that real quick, what we're going to do is basically take this and we'll move it to be all the way over here, like that. And we'll get rid of that, and then this is just going to end up getting deleted by the garbage collector, and that will remove the duplicate. So let's go back and see how we'll do that. Well, first off, we need to have a temp pointer point to this so that when we remove that, we can have something that will let us point like that. So let's come over here. We'll have a nice temp pointer that will be keeping track of this for us. So this is our temp pointer. I'll just make it a different color. So we have something pointing here, so we can just now move this and say, go to this one's next, like that, and then we'll have this, and we say, from this, remove that next, and then the garbage collector will, since this is just here, this will end up getting erased. Okay, and then now we have this go to the next one, and we'll see if this value and then dot next equals that value. It doesn't, so then we'll go to the next one, and we'll see if this value equals that value. It does, so we do the same thing. So we're going to have a temp pointer here, and then we will have this go to what that's pointing to, and then this ends up pointing to nothing over there. This gets cleaned up, and then we're left with that. So let's go code this up. All right, first we knew that from the constraints, it could be the scenario where we have a null head. So if that one's null, or if the head has nothing on the next, then we'll just return what they passed in. Okay, so if this points to nothing, then we just have one, right? So if we just have one, there's not really anything to do here. There's no duplicates, obviously. So we just return the head. If there is nothing here, then we just return the head, which is null. Okay, now next we're going to do this while, well, first we need to have that, first we need to have this pointer that we're talking about. So let's come back here. Okay, so we have this pointer, this pink, or sorry, purple pointer. Let's make that, I'll call it pointer. And then, excuse me, we'll point this just to the head. And then while the pointer is not equal to null, and the pointer dot next is not equal to null, then we do our loop. So in our loop, what we said we would do is we're going to read this value, and then we'll read the next value to see if they're equal to each other. Now, in our loop here at the beginning, we know this one's not null, what it points to, this pointer, and we know that it's what it points to, its next is not null either, so that's why it will be safe to write this. Okay, so we have a scenario where there is a duplicate, and then we said that if there is a duplicate, what we'll do is we'll create a temp pointer here. We'll point right there, and then we will move this over here to what that points next to, and then we'll get rid of that pointer. So let's do that. And then we're pointing to our pointer.next. And then we're going to say that the pointer.next equals pointer.next.next. And then we're going to say that the temp.next is equal to null. So now we're in this scenario here. I'm going to get rid of some of this stuff. So we're in this scenario now where that points to there, and this ends up going away. And when we look at the loop, it will then now go back up and check to see if what we're pointing at is null. It's not. This is not point. That's not null. And then it'll check to see if the next one over here is null, and it's not. So then it'll do the same check again. And if it's not a duplicate, then what we want to do is move this over like that. So we will do that. And then now we'll do that same check that we had last time. See the while loop, we'll see if that's null, and if that's null, it's not, and they're not equal to each other, so that moves up. And then that's not null, and that's not null. So then, and let me, while I'm talking about this, I want to bring the code so you can see it at the same time. Let's try to get this little arrow. Yeah, that's great. Go like this. Okay, so here we are. If that's equal to each other and that's equal to each other, which is, then we create the temp. And then we will say this pointer dot next, which is this, points to whatever this is pointing to, which is this pointing to the null. And we get rid of what that next was pointing to, set that equal to null, and this goes away. And then now the loop says, is this pointer null? No. Is the pointer of what it's pointing to null? Yes, it is. So it will end the loop, and then we'll just return the head, because the head, we never moved the head. It was always staying at the beginning of the list. So now we can run this. So we'll run it. And it's accepted, and it beats 100% of everybody else. And so now what we can do is do the Python version. So we'll go into Python here. Okay, so we said if head is none or head.next is none, then we'll just return the head. Otherwise, we'll create a list node, which is, we'll call it pointer. We'll point that to the head. And then while pointer is not equal to none and pointer.next is not equal to none, then we will check to see if the pointer.val is equal to pointer.next.val. And if that is the case, then we'll have our temp node be pointing to the pointer.next, and then we'll say our pointer dot next equals the pointer dot next dot next, and then we will then say that the temp dot next is equal to none, and then if none of that is the case, then we'll say the pointer equals pointer dot next, and then we will return the head. Okay, and then we'll run this. And we see it's accepted. Okay, great. Well, if you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel. When you subscribe to the channel, that lets me know that you want me to make more of these videos. Inside of the description to this video is a link to a playlist for this coding pattern series. This coding pattern series is called 2 Pointers. All right, thanks. Have a nice day.